Hi, my name is Meghan MacDougall. This is assignment number 3 for problem management skills for helpers, and this is a fictional scenario. Hi, come on into my office. Hi, my name's Meghan. I'm going to be your helper. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to come see us. Could you please tell me what brought you here today?
My doctor thought I should speak to somebody about my drinking problem. It seems to be affecting my day-to-day life and my home life.
Oh, I was wondering if you could tell me more about that.
Well, I have 2 kids, a young girl who's 5 and a newborn who's 2, and my boyfriend is we're going through counseling, for couples counseling, because it's affecting our home life, my drinking. So my doctor suggested I speak with somebody to help my family stay together.
Well, I'm really glad that you came here today. I'm hearing that you have a lot going on in your life right now. I know that you have a daughter. I'm hearing that you are currently married, and I'm hearing that you feel you are drinking too much.
I agree. There's been lots of signs pointing to it, and lots of problems at work and friends, and everybody's not looking at me the same way anymore. And I think my addiction is starting to take over my day-to-day living.
So I hear that you're experiencing a lot of loss in your life right now. I was wondering if we could maybe talk about that.
Well, I used to be very active sports-wise and with my friends. I was always on the go, and once I had kids, all of our friends had kids at the same time. So we were very active with the children in parks and sports and things like that. And now a lot of the parents and our friends are pushing away from me because my drinking is showing, I guess, more visually in my acting and in my socializing.
Okay. So, do you know when you started drinking? Can you identify the time, if there's something going on or an amount of time that maybe went by that you started drinking?
It was more of a summer thing. We were having barbecues and having a few drinks, and then come winter, when my boyfriend became more busy with school and working, I was home a lot by myself with the kids and thought a glass of wine a day wasn't a big problem. And then I continued drinking more and more, and it wasn't just a glass anymore. It was a bottle or half of a bottle a day.
Okay. So you think as your husband was out of the house more and more, you kind of started drinking more and more?
I guess that makes sense. I just had the kids, and once they were down, I didn't have much to do every night. I didn't have any more hobbies because the kids were home, so I had to stay home with them.
So it seems like you were drinking to maybe fill a gap in your life. So maybe something was missing. Does that sound fair?
That's fair enough, for sure.
Okay. So are you from this town, Grand Prairie?
No, I'm not.
No? So what brought you to Grand Prairie, I wonder?
My boyfriend's job. He works here, and he moved here we're from New Brunswick, so when he moved here, he encouraged me to move shortly after.
Wow. You must really love him to move out here.
I do.
Yeah.
I want our kids
really
to be
nice.
around their father.
Wow. That's really huge of you. Okay. So it sounds like, did you find it hard to make new relationships when you came out here?
I find that this town already has their cliques and their little groups, or when you're trying to get the kids into different daycares, even within the kids, there's kind of shunning of other new kids. They all have their friends and their play dates, and it's hard to get the kids into different activities with strangers because not everybody's very welcoming.
Okay. So, have you tried getting involved in any community activities or getting your children involved in sports?
My son's registered for soccer right now, so he's been doing that, but our little girl's still too young for anything.
Okay, and how old is your son?
He's 5.
Wow. What a fun age, 5.
Definitely busy.
Wow.
Keep you on your toes.
Okay, so I just want to pull back, and I want to talk about supports in your life. So it sounds like while you're in Grand Prairie, you don't have maybe the supports that you're used to having around, such as your family, parents, maybe neighbors that you grew up with, and you're not familiar with the town. So you're really filling the gaps with alcohol. Have you talked to your husband about this?
He's just said he thinks it's becoming a problem, and that I should look at the problem before trying to get involved in too many things.
Okay. So, does he know what's causing the problem, or does he not? Have you guys talked about a source of the issue?
We haven't gone into any serious depth.
No. Okay. Well, I'm wondering if that's the first step. If you could go home tonight and maybe try to have a good conversation with your fiance about how you're feeling. I don't know. Maybe has he been here longer than you?
Yes, he's been here for a couple years before I moved out.
Okay. So maybe he knows of some stuff in town that you could use that maybe you're not aware of.
I'll definitely ask him. I'm just not sure how well he knows the community either, because he's been working away for a lot of his jobs. He doesn't spend a lot of time in town.
Okay. So I feel like he might even know places to look.
He would definitely have a better idea than I would.
Okay, so maybe that could be a really good first step. So let's start by talking to our fiance, and because he'll be a good support for us.
Okay.
And I think we should really make the most of our resources in Grand Prairie. I know Grand Prairie has some really great addiction resources. Yeah. Now, how do you think this is affecting your son, watching his mother drink? How do you think?
I know he's at the age now where he'll understand what I'm doing, and he'll remember this, so that could potentially damage him or bother him when he's older and can relate alcohol and what it does to a person. But I didn't really see it as a problem until it was brought up by my doctor.
So I have to ask then, did you approach your doctor on your own about the issue, or did you go for a different reason and he noticed something different about you?
Yeah, I went for a different reason, and then he started asking how much I drank, and just regular questions of day-to-day living.
Uh-huh.
And when we got to the drinking question, that is when he saw the problem.
Okay. And what did the doctor recommend you do?
He recommended to do couples counseling with my boyfriend, and to really focus on the kids and the family, and to speak with you.
And I'm really glad that you came down here today. Well, that's the first step. So I'm wondering, do you recognize that you're drinking too much, or do you feel like you came here because your doctor told you to come here?
Well, I originally came because my doctor said I should come here, but the more you're pointing out of maybe how I should be more involved with the kids and the community, I'm seeing that maybe my habit is causing or even withholding a life for them.
I'm wondering, Shayna, when you drink, do you feel like you seclude yourself? Do you feel like you kind of hide away?
I'm just at home by myself, right? So instead of having a glass of tea at night, I'm having a glass of wine. I didn't see it as hiding away.
Okay. Now that I point that out, that maybe it's an avoidance issue to get out there and be part of the community. I'm wondering, do you think maybe that's what it was, that you were trying to hide, that you were full of shame, or
it does make sense.
Guilty?
I was very nervous of meeting people here and getting the kids involved and making sure it's the right activity for them and the right community in the right area, because I know some areas aren't as safe as the others. So I thought maybe staying home would be better off for all of us, when really maybe it's been more selfish on my behalf.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you have come out here. You are seeking help, and that's really wonderful. Have you thought of going to meetings? Is that something that you would be willing to do?
Absolutely. If it's going to better my family and my children, then they come first.
So I'm wondering, could you tell me a little bit about your past? I just want to really dig deeper into how you got where you are today. Was there anything else that went on earlier in life, or have you experienced further losses this year?
There's been a few family members that have passed away, but I didn't see that as my drinking as a resort to comfort for them. Like moving into a new environment has been perhaps the main trigger. I'm not around my friends and their children or my family. We've kind of began our new life here. Mm-hmm. Drinking was always a common thing when I was growing up, my parents drank, and so did all of their friends, and so did my friends and their parents, and
So it was almost a norm. It was almost part of your culture growing up.
it was a natural
It was,
habit for many people.
yeah,
We grew up in a small community, so it was often
something that you did.
mm-hmm.
It was an acceptable pastime
Yes.
in a small town. Okay. Well, and I think that really gives us a lot of information about maybe how you got where you are today, and how you are in your current situation. Okay. So I'm just wondering, Shayna, do you feel like you could help me make a plan of maybe how we could get back on track and maybe put your family first? And
I'm willing to try anything.
yeah, well, and that's really great. That's really wonderful. So I know that we have community resources that I can refer you to, and not only us who you came to, but we do have community partners. I will provide you with that list, and maybe some meetings you could go to. Is that something that you would be open to?
Would I have to go by myself, or could I bring somebody with me?
Now, there are two types of meetings. There are open meetings and closed meetings. I can help you find the open meetings, and we can highlight those. And if it helps to take a support in your life, such as your fiance, that's okay. I was wondering if you could help me identify any other supports in your life.
I have a couple of close friends here, and obviously through the phone I would have my family back home.
Do they know what's going on with you, your family back home?
It hasn't been brought up to them. I didn't seek any help until last week, so I didn't want to worry anybody or have anybody think more than they should.
And what about your friends in town? Do they know what's going on with you?
The women see it because they have children, and I bring the children around them, so they're noticing perhaps I'm not as fast as I used to be, or as quick noticing other objects or things around us, so they've been questioning it a little bit, but I haven't disclosed to them that I've been drinking on a regular basis, or there's been any problems with my boyfriend and I.
And have they confronted you about any of this, or have they drawn back?
They have a little bit, but each time it's been brought up, I've denied it. So nobody's pursued anything.
And I wonder, Shayna, if what you see is them trying to avoid you and not be part of your life, is really you drawing back and not trying to be part of the community, because you have been trying to maybe hide inside and drink as a defense mechanism. Do you think maybe?
That could be true.
Yeah.
I just wanted to stay home.
Could you maybe tell me more about why you want to stay home all the time?
Well, some of my friends are into different activities rather that I personally would choose. Some of them work full-time, some of them work part-time. Some of their schedules don't coincide with my kids and my schedule. Many of the boyfriends or husbands or fiancés, they all hang out together because they're on the same schedule, so I almost feel like I'm kind of put by myself, and don't really have the option to move as much because I have the kids with me.
Right. Okay. And I think that makes sense, that you maybe feel alone because everyone has their own schedules, and your son's in school and your husband's off at work. And are you currently employed, Shayna?
No, I'm staying home with our daughter.
You are staying home with your daughter. So I can understand maybe that you don't feel like you're in an adult's world all the time. Is that maybe fair to say, Shayna?
It is.
Yeah. Okay. So I think maybe we could make a plan together. Would you be willing to make a plan with me today?
I would.
Okay. I'm just going to try to maybe summarize what you've told me to make sure that you and me are on the same page and that we understand each other. Does that sound okay?
Okay.
Okay, Shayna. So I hear that you currently think that you're drinking too much alcohol. that you're new to Grand Prairie and maybe you don't have the supports in place that you had back home in Newfoundland. And I'm hearing that you grew up with a lot of drinking in your family and a lot of drinking in your community. Does that sound right?
Yes.
So maybe this became a norm for you.
It was never seen as anything bad. It was just a common, maybe habit or day-to-day life.
Okay. Okay. So and I hear, Shayna, that you do have a couple friends here, but that they're maybe pulling away from you a little bit, and maybe it's because you have different interests. But I wonder if it's because of drinking. So I think maybe we could make a plan to maybe slow down on the drinking, maybe be part of the community, and talk to your husband and try to be a family as a whole. Does that sound okay?
Yes.
So have I said anything today that maybe you think would be good to be as part of our plan?
I like the idea of having somebody come with me to different meetings, having a support, making supports.
Good. Okay. So I think we should make that happen then. And I'm wondering too, Shayna, if we could put a timeline on when you kind of talk to your husband about going to AA. What do you think is a good fit for that?
I'm just not sure how to approach him with it. Because he still drinks too.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how to approach the fact that I'll have to go to AA and perhaps invite him to come with me or not. I don't know if he'll come for that.
Okay. Well, then I think the first step to that is a conversation with him. And maybe you guys could even come here together and we could talk together.
Okay.
But for next time, I think, Shayna, that maybe you could try to talk to your husband tonight or tomorrow night. You can maybe try to attend an AA meeting. And I want you to try to do something for yourself. Okay? What kind of things does Shayna enjoy? And I want you to come back here next time and I want you to tell me what it is that you did for yourself.
Okay.
Could you maybe tell me our plan, Shayna?
I'm going to speak with my husband, explain to him that I'm going to start going to AA, ask him to come with me, and make time for myself. Make myself happy and try and fill the hole that maybe I was filling with alcohol.
That's wonderful. Well, Shayna, I really want to thank you for coming today. And I want to thank you for sharing with me.
Thank you for having me. It's helped a lot.
Perfect.